Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our panel on homelessness. We are very glad to have to my right Sister Christy Ann, Mother Marsha, Pastor Randall, and Brother Jason. Thank you all for coming, and our goal is to make things better for our community. As you know, I'm working on trying to get things for our homeless people, and the problem statement is the problem that we hope to resolve is that Camden County of Kingston, Georgia, Camden Missions of Kingston, Georgia, is not able to help the clients they need to because we don't have the resources, the proper resources. So we're hoping this is the beginning to get more stuff for our community and to help those in need. So with homelessness, I would like to start off by asking you, how many homeless people do you think we have in Camden County?
Just as a guess, 1,000.
1,000, okay.
I'll probably say about 5,000.
5,000, okay.
I'd say about 1,000 too.
1,000?
That's those that we know of.
Okay.
I would say closer to 5,000.
Okay. Well, the truth of the matter is we have about 10,000, at least 10,000. Now, the definition of being displaced or homeless is when you live with someone and your name is not on the mortgage or the lease. If you can get put out, then you're technically homeless. Okay? What can we do to help people that are homeless? What do you think we can do to help people that are homeless?
I think part of what we need to do is have a better working relationship with other agencies, so we're helping each other out and not double stepping, trying to do the same thing every agency. I think also just being understanding and compassionate when people are homeless and they need help, they're in a desperate situation, and just knowing that they have love and people that care about them can go a long ways to helping them.
True. Okay, how about you?
To piggyback on what you have just said, it is so heartrending to see, especially whether young, very young or older people with families, with babies, or the elderly without family care in this predicament. It is heartrending, and we all need to get together as a body and work towards improving the situation, because some of us have been fortunate to be grand and or great grandparents that have kids that care. Some don't, and this is where the problem is. We all have to get together and be able to do something to facilitate and eradicate this whole situation.
Okay. Pastor Randall?
Yes, sir. I think one of the things that we need to do, first of all, we got to continue to pray about this situation. The other thing I think that's important is that for homelessness, we have to find out what places or spaces are available to, and each homeless person may have a different scenario about how, what they need or what's to be expected, especially with families and babies, like you were saying, ma'am. Babies, we need to either the city has to get involved, city council has to get involved, the police department have to get involved, because they can't just dump people anywhere when they're homeless. And so we need to find the right avenues. We need to develop a plan that's going to work together, that's going to involve not one person, but everybody. You can't put the load on one person. So it's a citywide problem. And people that don't see it and probably just hearing it for the first time, they really have no idea how it's starting to exasperate now. So until we got to find a loophole somewhere to place these people somewhere comfortable until they can get on their feet, and they can't. And I think too that when they come to you, they have to have something in mind that, well, I'm not going to stay in the shelter forever, but job placements are, different things that may be available for them to bring in finances to help them out.
I think the most important thing with the homeless people that come in is give them some hope, because they're hopeless out there. They're helpless. They don't know what to do. They don't know which direction to head. They don't know who to go to. Give them some hope. Give them some trust. Help restore some faith that they can get back on their feet. That they're not. It's not permanent. Find out the reason they're homeless. get to the root of the problem. Is it drugs? Is it mental abuse? Is it they can't work because of physical disability? That's going to be something we need a lot of counselors. Let the people know where they can come to get those answers. Those answers are huge. They're very important. And then once those answers are in place, like you said, we need resources. We need to know, well, where do we go next? But that's where I think we start at, giving them some hope.
Okay, so hope. I like that. I like all the answers that you gave me. That's very important. And I'll start on this side this time. What can the homeless do to help themselves? A lot of times people homeless, you say give them hope, and we can offer that, but what can they do to help themselves?
Well, most of the reason I see homelessness around is because of addiction. They have to, pretty much like my grandma said, grab yourself up by your belt, pick yourself up, tighten your bootstraps up, and know it's time to go to work. But a lot of those people, through that addiction, it's out of frustration, it's out of aggravation, it's out of not knowing which way to turn and who to turn to. And we have to be the people they know to turn to. We have to say, hey, if you're hopeless and you're helpless and you're homeless, this is where you need to go. But know when you show up here, you're going to have work to do within yourself. We're not just handing you an open checkbook and you don't have to put no work in. And they need to know that's expected. They need some tough love. Trust me, I've been there. Easy love and that's okay is not going to cut it. Somebody's looked them in the face and say, you need to get your act together and we're here to help you, but you got to help yourself.
Right. Good. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. One other thing too, I like what you said. One other thing too, with that, the person have to, like if they're on drugs or they're alcohol or whatever the situation, they got to first identify within themselves that this is a problem with me, and I need help, because a lot of times people on drugs or things like that, they think it's not them. And they'll blame it on everybody else. But when you can identify what it is, then you can, I don't want to say attack, but you can approach the situation. And then you'll know what avenue to send the person in. Because you got some people, just like I think most drug and alcohol, they have like steps. So how many steps do they need to take before you actually offer them some assistance? If you do the steps, we'll help you. But if you don't do the steps, because you got to remember, a one-time fix means I just need something right now. Then I'm gonna go back to doing what I'm doing. But also, you have to. We gotta at the same time wrap our arms around them. At the same time, so that they need to know that somebody cares more than just saying, "Oh, he ain't nothing but this," or she ain't nothing but that. We gotta let them know that you got a personality. You got something somewhere in your head. You got a goal. If we can help you reach that goal, we'll try to help you reach that goal, or things like that. But I think that step, and then have a plan to assist them. I think that's what helps.
Can I add one more thing? The last thing I want to add on that is if you have a person come through the door and say, it's my fault I'm in my position, that person can be helped. Yeah. If the person comes through the door and says it's everybody else's fault but his, might as well, till they can accept they created their own situation, they can't move forward.
So accepting responsibility, is what I'm understanding you to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All righty. Mother?
I definitely have to go along with what you say until the individuals can accept it themselves that this is a problem with me. Right. Until that time, you're not able to solve it or to get any help to fix it until you can acknowledge it. Yes, so I agree with you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Sister Christine?
I have to say I really like the comment about steps because it breaks things down. It doesn't make it so overwhelming. I also think that part of the time, some of the clients I work with, because they've just kind of been pushed around from one agency to another agency and being told the same thing, they don't have the willingness to listen because they've given up. And so they need to see that we're trying, and we're trying to think up new ideas that maybe they didn't have, or new way to take and deal with the problem. And so they learn to start trusting us and understanding we do care. You know, you've got to do your side of the street and take care of your work, but we're willing to do ours.
Yeah, and let me say this too, Pastor Ham, if it's okay. When we talking about, and the reason that the steps are important because, okay, step number one is identification, and you're gonna know. Then I'm counseling. Second step. Then third step is counseling in another degree to define what your problem is, and then if you're a placement, and then you are released. So you can't jump from knowing what your problem is all the way to release. You know, every step has to be identified and it has to be completed before you go to the next step. And that's where the problem, one of the problems lies, because they don't want to go through all the steps. They so ready to get back out there. But one of our duties is, I think one of our personal duties is just, we need to be sure before we release this person that they're ready to go back out there. You know, because once you're homeless and you get used to homeless, if you can stay somewhere for 5 or 6 years, but you might like being homeless because you get better help. But the key to it is to have a program that at the end they'll be able to function with society, if that makes sense.
And that's what we want. We call it returning citizens, coming back into the community, whether it's coming out of prison, coming out of jail, coming from a rehab center. The key thing is that and you've all said this, that we can show them love, we can give them hope, and we can make them feel respected. You know, okay, we're going to help you, but you got to help yourself. That's the key thing that we're looking for, and I think we're all on the same page with that. So this is a good start. Do I have time for one more question? Okay, I want you to stick this under your cap, but yesterday we went to Brunswick, so I want to tell them a little about what we saw yesterday at the shelter in Brunswick. And again, so what we want to say, we want to be a dormitory, a transition center, not a shelter, not a homeless center, but a dormitory, because the people need to see that there is hope, you know, that there is a reason for them to continue on. So that's our goal. We stay away from shelter, we stay away from homelessness, and offer the right words to give them hope.
Reform.
Amen. Reform?
Reform.
Okay. Yeah, I like transformation.
Transformation?
Yeah. Because words are powerful, and people can feel if you care by your body language, by the words that you use. A lot of people don't believe this, but communication is 93% nonverbal. It's not what you say, it's your body language, it's your posture, it's your eye contact. Communication is 93% nonverbal. The tone, the auditory part is only like 7%.
That's right.
And people say, you looked at me. Well, I didn't say, but you looked at me. I felt something when you looked at me. I feel vibes. People's feelings are very important. Yeah. So yesterday we went to Brunswick and saw Saved by Grace, which is doing the same type of work that we are, and the other one that we went to in Columbia, which is really exciting because I love to see the body of Christ come together. So I would like for them to tell a little bit what they're doing. So what we're planning to do here, we're about 65% already there. So the people called today, said they'll be here Monday to look at the AC. I'm looking at when they have another computer dump, I get rid of those computers. Talk to Miss Judith about her stuff so we can sell that or whatever, get you a lawnmower. So it's coming together. So tell them a little bit about what you saw yesterday and how we plan to partner with the Sunday meals. And I guess
Sunday meals, I think, is wonderful because as it is now, we have, the least I've seen is maybe 7 here on a Sunday. Actually but then we do takeout meals as well to the shut-ins or those who just have no transport to be able to get to us. And we are going to be joining with them because they do have a good amount of people that comes in. So Sunday meals, those numbers are going to go up 35 or more, you know. And it's important for everyone to know that at least you can have at least one good meal, you know, served. And it's so appreciated based on what I've seen, you know, of the recipients. They appreciate the meal that's there, not just for holidays, but on a weekly basis. We have that. And I love the setup I saw there. And the participation they have surrounding areas and personnel and funds, which is our drawback right here, right this moment, funds. So if the varying districts can come together and work together as a team with the same goal in view, I think within time we can have this matter sorted out for Camden County and most of the other areas that has similar programs.
Okay, one good thing, we have Glenn County, and Tony, who you talked to on the phone, is from Charlton County.
Okay.
So we're going back to almost 20 years ago and reconnecting because of COVID and all of that stuff.
It's
so
important.
But again, so Sister Christine, what'd you like about it?
I like the way the dormitory rooms were set up because I think that it starts teaching ownership, which once you have ownership and a little pride in what you have, regardless of what it is, it's yours and I'm taking care of it. And it's also teaching them that they have to have pride for their environment and learn how to give back by doing what is expected from them to meet their goals and follow the rules. And the staff, you could tell the staff really cared. They, had rules and you had to follow them, but they cared and they knew their people and could talk about a little bit, share their stories and things like that. And I just think that the way that they have it set up, it is more of a dormitory style, and it's just teaching them to have a little more pride and dignity in themselves because they're learning about with their space. So that's what I really took away from there.
May I interject something real quick? You hit it dead on the head. Different people react to things differently. He may need a hug. You may need somebody to kick you in the shin. She may need somebody to just sit and listen to her. She may need to listen to somebody, have them talk. So different people react differently. You can't treat people the same way and get the same result. Everybody's different. So just about 2 cents worth.
Which goes back to what we said in the beginning, identifying the problem. So you got to identify it, and so since we figured that out, we got to identify it. But the one thing I do know about the Sunday meal is very good, because you'd be surprised at who's starving or who just want a good meal, even if they get it and go. It's as long as it's provided, and I think that y'all have done a wonderful job with it. And I can say this on camera, that my church is getting ready to start getting back involved with the Sunday meal. I mean, you do call me, and I will say you call me and you let me know who you are. And I don't respond because I'm so close I can just drive by.
Right.
So, but we're getting ready to get back involved with the Sunday meals because we want to be a help when we was doing it before. And I know COVID caused a lot of things, but the one thing about COVID, since we know what COVID is, God has blessed us with a lot of avenues for protection. And so now it's time to stop using COVID for excuses.
That's right. That's right.
I agree.
To do what God has caused us to do, given us the duty to do. We have it, and that's a blessing on Sundays. And because, like I said, you just never know. You never know who's hurting. You never know who's need. You may have a family that got into an argument and she decided not to cook. Well, that's right. You can come back here and get you a meal and go back home, and maybe by then, God have been God have been not blessed. But the other thing, like I say, is just the avenue, because I think me and Pastor Hammer talked one time about vacant hotels. There are some cities that have vacant hotels that they're transitioning. Since you used the word transitioning, they're transitioning to use those facilities for the right purpose now.
Right.
And I think that if you're gonna open a hotel up, that it goes back. You got to have guidelines. You got to have rules and regulations. Yeah. You got to have acceptance. You can't come here any kind of way if we're going to provide you this space.
Yeah.
And that goes back into the goal. If you just like this, say, okay, if you and your family are going to stay here, your husband or your wife, y'all need to show us where y'all have went out and looked for a job and been turned down. And then if you turn it down, then you can stay a little bit longer because you turn down. But if you don't even try, then that's something else that we have, you have to already start back dealing with again to encourage. Because I think one word that we didn't use is in homelessness is motivation. The motivation to let them know that, listen, I am somebody. I'm not homelessness, because homelessness means you're out there by yourself. But we are like a healing spot for that, for that hurt, that absentness, that pain, that suffering. Like I say, the steps. Like I go back to the steps, and we'll provide for
If
them.
I may say something there, one of the questions we ask is, what are your plans for the future to avoid this happening again? Because, if you get $10 today and you're going to spend $6 or $7 on a pack of cigarettes, you have $3 to eat. And you probably have to pay for something overhead. So it's a matter of balancing whatever the dollars are that you have to be able to avoid this situation from reoccurring. And then once you are so blessed with help that can alleviate the situation you're in now, you really have to be prayerful, for one, appreciative, and respect or the rules or regulations that is set out to maintain this so that others can also benefit.
A very good point. The people that are in those situations have made bad decisions. Just what you're saying, even a simple decision is cigarettes or food, they're choosing either drugs or alcohol or food. So very, very good point. They need help with their decision-making process. Something's not clicking up there somewhere.
Good. I think I'm hearing everyone say that if people feel valued and respected, we can reach more people like Brunswick. We can reach the people that may be mental or whatever. And you said each person is a case-by-case situation. That's one of the things we do here is to make sure that we don't treat everybody the same because, like I said, they are different. Yes, so, and you said that we can identify the needs.
Yes, sir.
And there's an exercise that Brother Jimmy has, and I talked to him about this. Y'all saw me do the flight, this thing, and so he teaches that. So it costs, but you're going to get what you pay into. So if we ever get some money, I would like to start with us taking it, then we can know how to talk to people, because it's easy to judge people by looking at the outside, like you just said. Police and all this kind of stuff. A lot of homeless and mental people have a big issue with the police. They don't want to deal with the law because they know how they treat them. So again, the ministry has to be the buffer to stand in the gap. And just like Brother Donald, now y'all don't know this, but I got a call from somebody trying to take some stuff to people in the hurricane, okay, and then they called me and I called, he said, yeah, he helped them out, okay, but then, okay, we got to monetarily help. See, so people trying to help people, they don't understand what it costs to be in ministry. It costs to be in ministry.
That's right.
And so that's why I say I can't thank you enough for when I say mother and sister or missionary. See, that's all I do. In my growing up, the deacon was always there to open the church. If it was cold or if there was a funeral, deacon make sure the church is open.
That's right.
Okay, somebody always had a key and they could get to the church. As a matter of fact, they really didn't lock them when I was a kid. You go to the church and pray. But nowadays you have to lock everything up. And so I'm used to that. And it's so easy for me to, because me and my wife, y'all our family. We don't have nobody here. Y'all our family. And that's the way the body of Christ should be. We are the body of Christ. So we should be working together as a team. And most of you all know the situation with our drug thing, which would be next. And so when we talk about the drugs and then the suicide, we can have some testimonies that you all have helped us to help the people, because for every one person, take about 10 people to get them off of drugs. When you're homeless, it's going to take about 10 people to get you back, and really it take about 3 years to get you back into a facility, a home or whatever. Yeah, so again, people think it's going to be a quick thing, but it's not. It's going to, the way things are going, it's only going to get worse. So I think what we're doing now is pre-planning, because the holidays is coming, winter is coming, and at this time of year, this is when we get into our situations where people have issues.
I think we need to put in place, like Pastor said, need the steps, need the guidelines. If you want to get well, if you want to have a home, a job, you need to do this, and this, and check them off as they go. Put in the work.
Yeah, we have something in writing. And a lot of times, a lot of the people didn't pay attention to what their parents told them, or the school teacher told them, or what the police told them, so then they ended up going to jail or going to prison.
And that blocks them for so much further down in their lives.
Or the people that did talk to them, they didn't have any patience or understanding. Maybe some of these other people need some more training. If you've got a fire burning, you don't dump gasoline on the fire. You're supposed to put something to smother the fire. If you and I are arguing and we get louder and louder, it gets worse and worse. Someone's got to be the bigger person. It should be some of the people that are paid by our tax dollars to be the bigger person. Hold on, slow down, calm down. But they don't. They escalate the situation sometimes, and that's ignorance. That shouldn't be tolerated.
Well, this is why it's important to keep having meetings like this. And again, we've come a long ways. Y'all have seen this building. Like I said, we got the AC coming. The AC here is done. Next week we'll be putting sheetrock in the back. So we're very excited about that. We got to buy some insulation. But looks like Wednesday we'll be hanging sheetrock. So I'll find out what that is. Just ask people to give a donation, because if we can be ready for the winter, that will be good. So again, homelessness is an issue that I see going to increase because rent is going up. I was told that has gone up. The BAH here for the military is going up another couple $100, which will help them, but people that are non-military are going to be stuck dealing with paying higher rent and higher mortgages. So,
if I may just go on to what you're saying, I have no problems in asking for money, because without money you cannot do the things that needs to be done. And with all the 100 and something churches we have around here, I think if everybody and all our residents that is able to afford whatever it is, $5. If I get $4 or $5, that's $20. I can buy a couple people meals. If everybody digs into their pocket as deep as they can go, both the haves and the have-nots, it will be a blessing, and we all will benefit from that.
okay, good. I think we can do that. So as our goals, you saw the paper what I typed. I think I showed you the 25 pages. So again, this is input that I've gotten from all of you, and this is a together project. There's no I's and no U's, no big Indians, no chiefs. The right word is, so we're all servants. And so when we serve for the body of Christ, for the edifying of the kingdom of God, we will all reap the goodness of what we've done. The Bible says he won't forget our labor of love. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, just one more thing I thought about what he said. Now, something that's really important that needs to happen too when it comes to homelessness, those that are out there, the police officers in every city, they need to be retrained on how to handle situations. They need some evaluation program to see where their head is at, see what they thinking before they're hired, before you just put them out there. Because most officers nowadays, they come like from the military, where they probably been in a vital hostile situation, and when they get out in the public, that hostility comes back. And the way they treat people, the way they stop you, the way they talk to you, and a lot of times it's how you talk back to them. But something escalates something. Something escalates something. And my point is just that you're not going to be able to do. We're not going to be able to do it without them. You know, because some situations. Like you remember a long time ago, they used to dump everybody here. Just it didn't matter. Just dump it on this. I'll say it like this: dump it on Ham take care of it. But we can't do that anymore. You know, and the officers, I think they really do need to be trained how to handle situations a lot better than they do, and we seeing it. And I'll say this: thank God for camera phones now and videos now, because it shows a lot of things that we don't see. So we got to pray for every situation. The police department, we got to pray for them. Also, we got to pray for our situations and being grateful for what we just bypassed us. You know, God really blessed us by just blowing. And when he blow, of course, the storm went another direction. But that's God. You know, no man can handle that. But then here's the other thing. A lot of the people that are homeless down now, they're going to come this direction. So we have to, we got to prepare ourselves for the influx that's going to come in.
Okay, good. Well, thank you very much. This concludes session number 1. Take the break and we get ready for the next group. I got to do one thing with Brother Roberts here. And thank you, Brother Roberts, for being here. And hopefully you can give us some input to reach out to the people, because I think I mentioned to you about having NA here. So we're trying to keep that going. I've talked to Fred Myers and Ralph Washington, so they can be people that know each other and to get NA going, because that's huge. We need that. So thank you very much, and this will conclude this section, and we'll get ready to turn over for the next one.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, ma'am.